Sunday, 2024. Not last January, but January of 2024, we all came up with our words for the year. We still have our word list. We have checked in with our word list multiple times this year. I can't believe an entire 12 months has gone by. 52 weeks. It happens all the time. It's just crazy. Kaylee, can you believe it's a whole year is over? No, I know. Thank you for coming today. It was nice to see you. So find your word. My word was grace. I was going to give grace to myself and grace to others. And I can successfully say that I did. I kept that in the front of my mind the whole year. I also have a little note up on my lectern that Sydney had written that says His grace is sufficient. So I think that helped to remind me about grace all year. How'd you do with your word? Do you remember your word?
I think mine was grateful.
You think your word was grateful?
I think so.
You think?
But I do write down something to be grateful for every day. I have a list.
You have a list of something you've been grateful for
Yes,
every day?
Every day, yeah.
You know, that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
A lot of us just don't take the time, or we don't have time. I think that's amazing. I really do. And I know some of the kids had these words as well. So I hope I am going to do something different for 25. But I think that was a great thing, and I know I had seen the idea online, and I keep seeing people saying, what's your word for 2025? Or, you know, have you picked it out yet? I'm all about doing that, if that's something that you'd like to do. So as you go back and you think about your year as a whole, which is not always easy to do, did you have any highlights? Did God show up? How about some challenges? We all have challenges, that's just a given. Was God there to help you through? Have you learned anything? Would you change anything? We know that all we go through is meant to help us grow. And for us here, time is finite. Time has a start, has an end. Although at Christmas dinner, sitting with Mike and Matthew talking about negative time, my daughter and I didn't even know what to think. No clue what it is. But apparently time can be negative. Is that right, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
In context.
Okay. So then I started thinking about, you know, other things to get us going back into our biblical characters. We talked a lot about biblical characters this year and some of our favorite stories and events in their lives. And what if those events had changed? Would you change events if you could? I'm a fan of those would you rather this or that books. Love them. Just bought another one yesterday. And they always get me thinking about the course of my life. Would I really rather have a limo drive me around all day, or drive a sports car for the rest of my life? would that really affect what I do? And this led me to a verse in the book of Esther. Perhaps this is the moment for which you were created. This verse I have thought about very deeply. But I want you to think about it. Think of a moment in time. It doesn't have to be this year. It could be, when you were a teenager or when you were in your 30s or, whenever. Think of a moment that you were made for. A moment where you were there for a purpose. To help or to be a presence. These moments happen all the time. And as long as we let the Lord work in our life, they will continue to happen. And it even happens when we aren't aware. So we have a lot to think about, a lot to draw from this previous year. But if that's too much to think about the last 6 months or the last month? Sometimes maybe we can only go back a week. But what if we look ahead as well? We could take our word from this past year and bring it forward with us. Absolutely. We've got grace, hope, grateful, kindness, love, fun, blessings, happiness. Is there anything you would do differently? Do you want to take up a new hobby? Do you want to work harder on your current hobby? Do you want to spend more time in quiet with God? More time with family and friends? Read more? I like to think that at the beginning of the year, I have a notebook or a sketchbook. I've recently been using sketchbooks, which completely blank, no lines I have to follow, to take my notes for my classes. And that's made a difference for me, but I always feel that at the beginning of the year, I have 365 blank pages. What am I going to do with them? That's a lot of pages. What you decide to do with them is your choice. Will you keep God first? This is also your choice. So before we come back together next week, which will be 5 days into the new year, think about a goal that you want to achieve or accomplish for next year. And take some time in prayer to really figure this out. Be brave, try something totally brand new. Do it together with God. Think about moments that He is going to use you. Moments that you were created for. Jot them down. That's awesome that you write down every day something you're grateful for. I'm guessing that was instilled in you by your father.
Mm-hmm.
Having something to put in the good book every day. So I encourage you to do that. You've got a few more days. How many days? Today's 29? 2 days. 2 days. How are you going to spend the next year? the next day. Amen.